Hey, what's going on, friends? Welcome back to the channel Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I hope you're doing well, mate. I really do hope that. Welcome back to Chelsea News. Pochettino has spoken about certain individuals and what his plan is for them, what he expects. We doff our caps and maybe keep that hair hidden to Levi Colwill and Noddy Madueke. Oh my word, what a player Levi Colwill is. Give him what he wants, ladies and gentlemen. Update, I've ordered a new Mac Pro desktop tower, and yes, it hurt my wallet like nothing else. Don't look up the price, it will make you feel sick. Anyway, my other one broke. I'm currently using a PC. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't really work properly on it, and I'm of the school of Mac when it comes to work and editing, music production, video editing, and indeed Photoshop. So it's an investment. I wanted the best quality for you guys. For me, I want the best audio, the best video, and indeed, eventually, I'll do different kinds of edits and stuff. So it's all for you guys. Make sure you strap yourselves in for the ride by subscribing and hitting the bell notifications icon. And I thank you for dropping a like. If you think Levi Colwill should be in Chelsea starting 11, drop a like. In fact, just drop a like anyway. I mean, we'll start with that. Noddy Madueke and Levi Colwill, and indeed the Young Lions. Easy for me to say. Congratulations, they won the Euros under-21s without conceding a single goal. Noddy Madueke started very well, but eventually lost his starting place, but still featured in every game off the bench towards the end. Very raw, Noddy Madueke. You know, he defends well, he retains the ball well, he wriggles through people in the final third well, but very much needs to work on that final product, which of course he's only 20 years old. Plenty of time for that, but we just hope he can do it under new gaffer Pochettino. I want to speak about Levi Colwill. Of course he conceded the late penalty in this game. I'm not sure it was a penalty or not. I've seen differing opinions so far, but that's by the by. His sofa score rating was the highest. I know this is a silly ratings app by any player on the pitch. He's been absolutely incredible, Levi Colwill, and although recently I've been tentatively tiptoeing around, or don't just give him assurances of playtime, you know, it's like Pochettino says, you don't sign the contract to play, you sign a contract to train. I love all that, but at the same time, oh my god, just give this guy what he wants. I knew he was good. He was good at Brighton last season. He's been highly rated for a long time. He just looks incredible. The aforementioned Noddy Madueke, raw ability, needs polishing. A player who's actually younger than him, and Levi Colwill, he's still a teenager, looks like the finished article. It's incredible. John Terry regen. I read somewhere that a Premier League, was it Premier League? No, an England coach. Also, a coach of note said he's the best left-footed centre-back England has ever produced. I mean, that's sensational sweeping statements there, ladies and gentlemen. But the way he just sprays it around the pitch, the way he defends, all his spatial awareness, he knows what space to occupy. It's just incredible. This dude's 19. I do believe the stories from reputable people who are informed that Liverpool are willing to break the bank for this teenager from Chelsea to be like a long-term replacement for Van Dijk. We would look like colossal mugs. Brighton have already done a record transfer bid to try and sign him. It's mad when you have your record transfer bid for a centre-back. It's even crazier when that guy is a teenager. So, absolutely sensational scenes. We should do all we can. And, Pochettino, we know he was watching the final. He would have seen that performance. He would have known how good he is. He's going to have a conversation with him now. Yes, there was that Instagram live incident when Noddy Madueke went, I'm making sure he's staying. And he sort of looked a bit uncomfortable. I don't necessarily think that's him going, oh, well, I don't want to stay at Chelsea. I think that's probably look, we don't talk about that here. He still probably feels like he wants to be in a negotiating position, so he doesn't want his mate going, oh, he's definitely staying no matter what. That's not helpful. Shades of Antonio Rudiger and Eden Hazard when he goes, Eden Hazard stays. I think he stayed for one more season, didn't he? Anyway, yes, very, very good. Congratulations to them both. They'll both be reporting back just before we fly off to America for pre-season, and incredible scenes and just an incredible player, Levi Colwill. I mean, we can. Chelsea are reportedly not. He's not for sale regardless. That's their position. You know, Liverpool could say £80 million, and Chelsea would say no. I mean, would this new ownership say no to that? I'm not so sure. But apparently, we're just going to dig our heels in regardless and try and make him sign a new long-term deal, which is good to hear. But Chelsea have maintained this position for a long time, which makes you think, okay, maybe behind the scenes, behind the background, they do know what they're doing in terms of identifying young talent, buying these young players. They said long ago, yeah, Bruyer's the truth. Armando Bruyer's the one. We're not selling him, you know. We're giving him a long-term deal. And everyone's sort of thinking, really? I mean, you know, he looks all right. He looks a bit like Costa now and again, like hasn't scored that many goals. But they're like, nah, you know, this is the one. And seemingly they've always maintained that position with Colwill. So maybe they are building a super team of tomorrow. Maybe it will pay dividends before the ends, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to turn my aperture down a little bit. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. Warmth, you might say. So yes, we're now going to move on and listen or read what the Guardian, Jacob Steinberg, has written on some comments and quotes from Pochettino regarding his plans for certain players. Mauricio Pochettino has backed Enzo Fernandez, Levi Mudryk, and Raheem Sterling to live up to their expensive price tags. I don't think Sterling was that expensive at £47.5 million, considering, you know, the climate, etc. Sorry, I've got really runny nose. But Chelsea's new head coach warned his struggling stars that there will be no excuses to underperform this season. Listen to Daddy Poch. Your playtime is over. Last season, whatever, but now, my dear sweet friends, now, my dear sweet underperforming, slacking, silly sausage of footballers, it's time to sweat and bleed. Pochettino is keen to lift the mood at Stamford Bridge. What a line after that. And he is aware of the amount of change at Chelsea and how it's made it difficult for the new signings to settle. Fernandez and Mudryk have been inconsistent since joining. Pause. That is unfair on Enzo Fernandez, because I think he's been pretty consistent, actually. He hasn't been amazing. He's had good moments, but I think he's been a consistent performer. So I disagree with Steinberg there. Since joining for huge fees in January, Sterling has not found his best since his £47.5 million move from Manchester City, and Marc Cucurella has been disappointing since signing from Brighton for £62 million. That we can wholeheartedly and collectively agree on. So Pochettino said this: now is a new start. They need to show their real quality. We need to create a platform for them to feel comfortable and to create the space for them to perform and improve. These players were arriving in difficult circumstances. I mean, true. And it was an absolute mess. The preseason was a mess. And some players, are coming off a unparalleled high of winning the World Cup. One's country is literally being invaded and is at war. There are very much difficult circumstances. Because we love to work in this way, this challenge, we need to give them the opportunity to show they are able to cope with the pressure to play for Chelsea. I do love how he's come in with the Thomas Tuchel air of, we are Chelsea, this is Chelsea, shut the F up, do you know what I mean? Like, no more silliness. He said this: it's not only the responsibility of the coach to always feel the mood of everyone. The players have to take responsibility in trying to adapt and have his own motivation and try and work really hard to let us manage to try and achieve the very best. It's reciprocal both ways. So Chelsea broke the British transfer record when they signed Enzo Fernandez from Benfica for £106 million. I mean, Declan Rice has just gone for 105, isn't it? So they're creeping. Soon it won't be the record. The Argentina midfielder had just won the World Cup and, of course, won Best Young Player at the World Cup. And he keeps going to not displayed his quality on a consistent level. I think out of the rest of the players, he's been the most consistent. But anyway, granted, he's not playing at his level, but, who is? Poch goes on to say this: it was important now to rest a little bit because it was a year and a half of playing. It was arriving from Argentina, from Portugal to the World Cup. Of course, this is Enzo. And from the World Cup to England and never stopped for 1 year and a half. Yeah, I didn't consider that for the seasons just so flat out. He's young and energetic. And by the way, when we brought him here, both Potter and Lampard, we just played him every single freaking game. So it's not like, oh yeah, you've played a year and a half and we've got 10,000 players. It's no, we're going to absolutely flog you until you pass out. He's young and energetic, but the young players also need to rest and clean the mind. I love this about Poch. She's quite spiritual and has arrived in Chelsea not in the best circumstances. Yes, it being a circus. He still is young, needs to learn about the Premier League. I mean, it's good that he had the last 6 months in difficulty because that's a little bit of an extended pre-season. Enzo will kind of look back on that as like a peculiar fever dream, hopefully. And now he can be like proper pre-season, but not feel like daunted by like the Premier League because he has actually in said fever dream been around it for a few months. So now he knows what it is to be a Chelsea player and he knows London. He's communicating better and we're going to help in all these aspects. Yeah, so he probably speaks a bit of English, but he probably needs to crack on now with lessons. Mudryk, who joined from Shakhtar Donetsk for 88.5 million. Pause. We paid 60 million for Mudryk. If we win the Prem and Champions League, we will win. He will pay an extra 30 million, more than 30 million, 35 million. So the add-ons are profound in this deal. It's not Declan Rice going for 100. Both Declan Rice and Mason Mount went to Arsenal and United respectively with £5 million add-ons. This is like £35 million of add-ons, and this gets lost in the wash there. He will report to training on Monday. That's tomorrow after representing the European under-21s at Ukraine. It's really important to spend some time to talk. So Pochettino is talking about Mudryk here. I'm going to meet him before he comes to pre-season. I really like to see and know him and then design the best strategy to help him be at the level Chelsea expect. Now, this is really interesting because I think Mudryk is the closest, profile. And yes, it's lazy to compare Pochettino's tactics and philosophy moving forward just to that Tottenham side. And he himself has returned to the Premier League and say he's by far a better coach than he was back then. But the truth is, he performed very well with very little with this kind of setup. So you think with the resources that Chelsea will offer him, he might turn to something similar. And I think Misha Mudryk, he does suit that Son profile, doesn't he? Running down the left, devastating on transition. And, Poch gets the most out of coaching that. Even Mbappe did quite well playing under him, obviously on the left channel role. So I do think Mudryk is someone that he could really get a lot out of. So that's Mudryk. Let's talk about Sterling. So we finished 12th last season and did not see the best of Sterling, who struggled with his form and fitness. And then Pochettino speaks about Sterling. We are talking about a really good player, Pochettino said, but sometimes it's not easy for a player to adapt quickly and show the same performance he maybe had at another club. Yeah, so this is a really salient point, actually, because yes, he's a senior figure. Yes, he should know better and lead by example, yada, yada, yada. But he's come from such the antithesis of what Chelsea is. The most settled, organised, regimented, formulaic, way of football, training, life, and indeed work to exactly the opposite at Chelsea. So when you've been like zen and know what you're doing to spinning around in a tornado, it's very hard to take a grip and take control. So yes, it's important to say that. We need to reduce the number of people in the squad because it was too big. People need to find their space in the training ground, then in training, then in the team. Very good, I like that. We can't just blame the players. We need to see what's going on and why they're not performing in the way we expect. When all is clear, we cannot give excuses for them not to perform. That's it. Take a deep breath, analyse everything from corner to corner, and then nowhere to hide, brothers. That's it. Once we see you, we see you. No more excuses. We need to clean everything and say, come on. Now it's up to you. Show me that you are ready to play for this club. I like it. I like it. Pochettino intends to hit the ground running, but Chelsea still have problems to solve. They do not have a shirt sponsor, of course. We do not have found a goalkeeper to replace Kepa Arrizabalaga. We still think there's a good chance Kepa's going to be number one. Some of Graham Potter's backroom staff remain at the club. And of course, we are looking to find buyers for the likes of Aubameyang and Lukaku. Pochettino says, I'm not worried. From tough situations, you can become stronger. You got to go through it to get to it, right? Different circumstances in the last few years put this club in this situation. That's so true. I'm so good that he just knows what's going on. He doesn't just go, oh, Chelsea, they're in a bit of a difficult situation, but it's a big job. Hopefully they'll help me sort it out. He's gone, right. He's essentially lucid to what I've been talking about for God knows how long. The whole, like, long time coming, kicking the can down the road. This is something that everyone... I'm a YouTuber, man. Just a Chelsea fan and a humble little YouTuber, and I know about this. So professionals at the club and everyone should be briefing him on this. He should just know it himself as an intelligent football man. This is where we are here. This is why we are here, because of all the history and the crap and stuff. To try and fix things. I'm not the person who will think too much about these situations. I feel the responsibility, but I am not worried. Ooh, love it. He's set to hold talks over Levi Colwill and Brighton. Of course, Brighton have already put in big bids for him. Chelsea are adamant we won't sell him. And, of course, we're moving very, very hard on Moises Caicedo. However, if Pochettino was asked if he needs to convince Colwill to stay, he says, I need to get a feel for him. I need to hear what he has in his mind, what he expects. And then, of course, to listen from what I expect from him. Boom, and there it is. He's won me back over. At the beginning of the video, I was like, give him what he wants. He's the king of everything. But now I'm backing the leader, the coach, the champion. I would have followed you, my brother, my captain, my king. You know? Sit down. What do you want, Levi? Well, I want to play every day. Right, stop talking. Now I'm going to tell you what I want. Yeah, we need to keep it holistic, collective, philosophical with everyone, you know? Anyway, I really enjoyed reading that and finding out Pochettino's comments on each player. I hope you did too. Let me know by dropping a like and commenting down below. Of course, the content train keeps flowing. I will react to any news as it pops, so turn the bell on when you subscribe. I thank you for joining me again and look forward to seeing you next time. Ciao.